in addressing food systems deficiencies. Can you put this engagement into context, especially given COVID-19, the COVID-19 pandemic and the volcano eruption in Tonga, and where you, particularly as your role as a business person, as a PIFON president, and also as part of the Chamber of Commerce, where you saw your role in that and how that sort of pushes you and the groups that you're involved with to focus more on private sector development for resilience.
Thank you very much, Alicia, for the opportunity, and congratulations to my fellow panelists. I think Michaela and Philippe have touched on a few important points that I was going to talk about. So it's important to note that it's not just isolated incidences or things that we need to address as a region and globally as a planet, but it's things that are common to many of us. And the theme of today's session, our people, our strength, I congratulate the organizers, because it really is about the people. And what COVID has taught us in the last couple of years is really the disruption on production, the anxiety from the eruption of the Hunga Tonga, Hunga Ha'apai, and a 3-month drought last year has really exacerbated the confidence level in our farmers, our fishermen. Everything came to a halt, as you all know. And it's really taught us that we need to look internally as a country, as individual nations, as a region, collectively as well, may I mention, because we're too small to compete amongst ourselves. 70% of our farmers here live in rural areas. They're an important source of supply for our food security for the planet. And I don't think enough attention is given to them to address their needs at the grassroots level. But we have bodies such as Pacific Farmer Organization in the region. It's only a 10-year organization, but we've gone from strength to strength, from 18,000 members in 8 countries to now 14 countries and 90,000+ members that we represent. So they're a very important part of this network that we build and continue to build. And I'm very glad to say that now we're getting recognized at the regional level, having a seat along with PIPSO. And thank you to PIPSO and SPC for the support in recognizing the voices of our farmers at these regional forums, because I think to build change, sustainable change for all of us, we need to work together. Partnerships need to include farmers, businesses, governments, donor agencies. They need to come and collaborate, but listen to the voices of our farmers and fishermen in order to develop policies and systems to address some of the challenges that we all face. Last year, in particular for us, our exports was down 62%, the worst it's ever been, and that's because of COVID, the eruption, and the drought. I'd like to recall 3 important messages from our King, His Majesty Tupo the Sixth, in numerous statements to Parliament pre-COVID and during COVID, which relates to what we're talking about today. Firstly, he talked about the need to help to address the health of his people. We talked about food. Secondly, the education. And thirdly, economic development. In terms of health, we all know the high incidences of NCDs in the region. 60% on average of our food that we consume is imported and mostly processed and unhealthy options. Yet we live in paradise. We should be addressing and supporting our local industries, our local farmers and fishermen, to create employment, but also healthy opportunities and choices for us. In Tonga, we all think, a lot of our people here think that if we consume a can of Coke, it's better for you. It's a status thing but they don't realize that a coconut is actually healthier, or water is healthier. So education plays an important role, and education really should start from the bottom up, from our producers, whether they're fishermen or farmers, through to the consumers, through the schools. And I think there's a great opportunity, an untapped opportunity in most of our Pacific Island countries to connect farmers to our school food policy and systems. We have canteens that we bring in, allow imported foods that our children consume, which adds to the health issue and the high bill that we have in terms of a health bill. In terms of development, the high cost of production and freight costs because of the war and the COVID, that hasn't come down. That's more than doubled here in Tonga's case. So again, we need to support local industries, and we're losing a lot of our youth and people to seasonal worker scheme in Australia and New Zealand. We can't stop them, but we need to put policies and strategies in place to promote and build capacity for those who are left behind, to support businesses and the primary industries in which we all operate. We need to reduce imports by, again, realizing the potential of our farm organizations and our businesses locally. Majority of our employment here in Tonga are from the private sector, so we're an important engine of support for the government in terms of a tax bill. So the more we do to build capacity, technical and infrastructure support, the better it is for the country as a whole. The war in Ukraine, now we're seeing wheat flour in Tonga double in price. So Philippe, thank you for promoting breadfruit flour, cassava flour. I spoke to one of our local retailers here and bakery, a Chinese guy. He uses 50% flour, cassava flour in all his baking. And he ordered 8 containers of flour from Singapore, originated from China. We had to go all the way from China. Okay, economies of scale. But what can we do to do a substitute, tax those that are imported higher, support local industries? So I think there's room there for us to improve some of the policies and strategies, but we need to listen to the people, the doers, those who are well established, those who are actually doing serious work to have an impact, a positive impact on the economy and the country as a whole. We need to break down barriers for interregional trade, something I've spoken about many years, and very little is done. And I think we need political will from our leaders at the PIFs and seek good advice from the right people in order to make informed decisions to support that. We're too small, I said, as a region to be competing. Renewable energy is a big one. Desalination for irrigation to support our farmers. We're in the middle of El Nino now. A drought is in effect in Tonga. And today, my water tank was almost finished, and I have 40,000 litre tank. Luckily, I have another 270,000 litres of water, rainwater, going through a UV filtration system. I'm now supporting other families getting water for them. So that's something that we've always talked about before, but fell on deaf ears. And now we're in a situation it's constant now, it's regular, 2 years in a row now. We need to really think about our approach to climate change, food security, and the health of our people. I think I'll leave it there for now, but I like to reiterate that the strength of the farm organizations in the region, that is a model and an approach that we should take and build on. Thank you, Alicia.